Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's series of podcasts where we are trying to know your subjects better. Today we have with us a master in ethics, one who knows to simplify ethics in ways you cannot believe, and also the one who has mentored multiple top ranks in recent years. Today's guest, we have Ms. Sakshi Sundarani ma'am, who will be talking to us and making us understand how beautiful and probably how easy ethics is. Ma'am, when we are talking about ethics, this is going to be the starting point because whenever we talk about ethics, it is something that is absolutely new to the aspirants and they want to understand it because in the curriculum we talk about the education curriculum, we have not really come across it.
Yes.
So, if you have to introduce ethics as the introduction, what exactly it's like and what they would encounter, so how would you put it?
Thank you so much for the kind intro, first of all, Shubhangi. If I were to introduce ethics to somebody who's never read the subject, it's just a keyword, let us say, for something that you do on a daily basis. You just take some life choices on a daily basis. For example, if you're a student, do you want to, say, for example, take a shorter route to something or follow the ethical longer way for something? Do you wait for the traffic lights to turn green, or do you like jump traffic lights because you have to rush somewhere? So ethics is present anywhere and everywhere that you deal with, just that you've never read it as a discipline as of now. So ethics in such ऐसा कुछ नया नहीं है. Just that आप जो daily life में practice करे, you just learn it via a few concepts. You just understand it better and in depth via a few theories, etc.
Right. Ma'am, when we are talking about ethics being a new subject to the aspirants, another thing that students around follow is what is being said about the subject across. And ethics is seen scoring, yet highly misunderstood as well. Why do you think that conception around this subject is present?
I think it is highly misunderstood in the terms like people say that it is a test of your personality, and if your personality is good, it will naturally reflect in the score that you get.
Right.
I would like to differ from that. Basically, it is a test of your personality. I'm not denying that. UPSC has kept that subject and it has mentioned it specifically that it wants to check a person's integrity, a person's personality via that paper. But see, it is a competitive exam that you're writing, right? Having a good personality is not enough. You need to also work on the paper as such. There are a lot of interlinkages. There's a lot of depth that the exam requires, and if you have that, you will naturally be able to score better than others. So it is a discipline that requires good understanding as well as good practice.
Right. And now that you have mentioned practice, we have straight up come towards the preparation part.
Right.
So, as you said, it requires a lot of effort, and definitely there's some planning strategy that must be dedicated towards GS4.
Right.
So, what should the timeline, strategy, effort look like for this paper?
See, again, when we read any subject for mains per se, the syllabus is very defined.
Correct.
So whenever you're reading any subject, be it ethics, be it your GS2, be it your GS1, the syllabus is very defined. Just look at the syllabus, look at the topics, theme-wise, prepare what is your understanding that is needed to be provided to the examiner on that topic. For example, if there is a topic called role of family in inculcation of values. Now, what do students do? वो बस कुछ values पढ़ लेते हैं जो family आपको सिखाती है. Or you learn of family as the first informal agent of socialization. But you have to look beyond that. Family does not only teach you positive things. There are certain negative things, things that you pick up from your family as well, which is patriarchy. That is your first lesson in patriarchy. Casteism, how you treat people who work for you.
Right.
Or be it how the institution of family is changing because of the internet, how the institution of marriage is changing, etc. So, and how is that affecting values? For example, you would want to go to your grandparents before this to know about your history for your culture. For example, I'm a Sindhi. So I would ask my grandmother about the stories of partition that she had gone through. But now I can just via a simple Google search I can get to know what is the partition history of Sindhis, and I'd be done with it. Right. And that is how the storytelling of grandparents is being replaced by something as simple as a Google search. And that is what you should be analyzing. That is what you should be able to reflect upon when you read of ethics.
Right, that has a lot of depth. Now that you're linking it and putting it out there. So, ma'am, when the student has to start with the preparation, what should be the starting point to it? And if there is any defined timeline to it, what would that be?
I would say if you're doing any foundation course, it
Mm.
would be good that you go through in detail of all the concepts that exist. Beyond that, use the syllabus to as your reference point and read a basic material that is being provided at the institute. Or the problem with ethics per se right now is that there is no one source that you can read and get good at ethics. For example, there's Lakshmikant for polity, there's
Right.
Spectrum for history, but we do not have any such
Mhm.
resource, which is why. So earlier, what the toppers used to say was that just prepare definitions of all the keywords, all the values that exist in ethics, and you'll be able to score good marks. It might have worked at that time, but the number of questions and the kind of questions have gotten so diverse that you cannot expect कि आप उस 7 minutes में you will be able to come up with a great answer.
Right.
So that requires you to not just have a good understanding, but also note making, note building, value addition. Right? For example, like I said, you need originality in ethics. So for that, you need to have a look at what is going on in the society. Something as simple as the NEET paper leak, or for example, there was this instance of a Noida man drowning in water because nobody came to save him in time. People were watching for the
Mhm.
past 2 hours, but no one came to save him. These things should be used in your ethics paper so as to reflect or showcase how you think about things that are happening in society on a daily basis. So I think one is syllabus completion, but beyond that comes your originality in thinking, your ability to apply ethics into real life circumstances that matters.
Ma'am, you briefly mentioned value addition and then you talked about two current events that happened. So, what is the role of newspapers or current affairs in ethics preparation? And do you really think biographies, movies, or maybe real life incidents also contribute to the preparations specifically for ethics?
Definitely. I think they play a big role. Why? Because when you're reading ethics, theory part is same for everyone, right? What Guru Nanak has preached throughout his life would
Right.
not be different for you or for me. But how I look at it and how I apply it in real life circumstances and how I analyze it differs. For example, agar aap newspapers या biographies, like you said, for example, the Fogart sisters can be used as a biography in the reference of family as well, role of family in inculcation of values. For example, other biographies, what can we say other than that? Milkha Singh's biographies for motivation, etc. So you can use a lot of movies references are also given. For example, the movie Pink for women empowerment, and for example, examples. Newspapers, I would say, whenever you're reading any current affairs material, you should always have an eye for newer examples for ethics, because that is what differentiates from somebody who is just reading whatever is being provided to him via, say, a prominent material. जैसे अशोक खेमका सर का example हो गया, जैसे there are other IAS officers that we keep on repeating in the paper. Now imagine an examiner who's sitting there checking copies in an order, one after the other, और उसमें वही same example आ रहा है. That might look like value addition to you, but for him it is just any other copy. So for differentiating, you should be having that eye to inculcate newer examples, different examples. So there are websites like Better India, there are websites like She the People TV that tells you some newer examples. जैसे जोश टॉक्स हो गए, उसमें कुछ रियल लाइफ स्टोरीज आते हैं. और beyond that, I would say अपने personal examples. For example, there was a student of mine who got All India rank 37 last year, Shobhika Pathak. She told me that I would use a lot of personal examples. For example, if I'm calling a Swiggy for a Swiggy delivery at 12 a.m. in the night when it's raining, I should feel guilty and empathetic towards that person, right? So using that as an example showcases that you are an empathetic and a compassionate person, right? So using those, I think, takes you closer to showcasing the example or examiner who you truly are as a person, and that helps.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, when we were talking about this, another thing that popped up in my mind from a perspective of a new aspirant, absolutely. Does this make answer writing different from other GS papers in ethics, and also how important it is to prepare for this separate kind of answer writing for ethics?
See, every discipline that you read has a specific vocabulary, right? About जब GS3 पढ़ते हो, you want to use uh, terms like CAGR, right? When you write GS2, you would like to use terms like constitutional morality. Similarly, when you're reading GS4, how do you expect to score good marks जब आप GS2 और GS3 वाली vocabulary और GS2 और 3 वाली knowledge पूरी replicate करके आ रहे हो? तो every subject has its own keywords, has its own terminology. So when you write ethics, it should be from the perspective that you're writing specifically as a GS4 person. The examiner should be able to differentiate कि आप कोई GS2 का answer नहीं लिख रहे हो. You would see a lot of times questions like BNS are asked in GS4. Now the examiner has not put it by mistake. उसको पता है कि BNS is a GS2 core question.
Right.
He's putting it to see how you differentiate that answer when it is asked in GS4. So that I think will come when you practice a lot of PYQs, when you practice a lot of answer writing. And how to do that? I think just start writing more and have a feedback mechanism with a teacher, with a mentor, so that आप जिस direction में जा रहे हो, somebody could guide you if that is the right direction. What is the feedback mechanism के through आपको पता चलेगा कि am I going in the right direction? What should I look for to further change? For example, does it require a diagram? Does it require for example, some newer examples? Does it require some theoretical interlinkage, so to say? So that would help.
Right. And when we are talking about different type of answer writing, of course, we have to talk about case studies.
Right.
What are the common mistakes that you have found in case study and the relevant answer writing around it? And what the student should take care of, like to correct those common mistakes which are seen?
See, the biggest problem in case studies is not that लोग लिख नहीं पाते हैं. People are able to write case studies. If I tell you that this is the wrong path and this is the right path, at least theoretically सब लोग तो ले लेंगे, right? The problem comes when you fail to diversify and differentiate that same answer from the rest of the crowd. And which is why you would see the biggest problem that everyone faces in ethics currently is not being able to get over 110 as a score. That is largely because जो score आपका case study से आने वाला था या जो score आपका extra value addition से आने वाला था, वो काम आपने किया ही नहीं. You left it for somebody else to do it for you, or you left it plain and simple कि I'll just tell them the right option and that would do. So when you're telling them the right option, see, you are no philosopher, you are no moral thinker. आपको किसी credible personality, किसी credible thinking, किसी credible thought की reference लेके you have to tell them why do I feel that this is the right option.
Correct.
Right? So when you do that, you're adding value to your answer and you're sort of coming from a place of expertise in that answer. So that would help.
Right. When we are around answers only, I have another thing that we would like to know. When we are talking about, for example, geography or let's just say economics, we understand role of diagrams, we understand the role of putting in data. What kind of role like flowcharts, diagrams, or like visual value addition plays in ethics, or it does not? Like, what should students do about that?
See, I've seen a lot of students being troubled कि इसमें diagram नहीं आ रहा है. Now the question is simply how is corruption harming the society? So it is not necessary that आप हर question में एक diagram add कर पाओ, and it does not have the same kind of value. For example, you would want to in art and culture in an art and culture question, you would want to show कि एक स्तूपा कैसा दिखता है, आप draw करके दिखाना चाहोगे. In geography questions, you would want to show कि cyclone कैसे function करता है. But in ethics, I think a diagram is a visual representation that simply helps you showcase or explain your point better. For example, if I want to say that in an individual, integrity and skill both are important, so I would just draw a Venn diagram,
right?
And I would draw a common area that shows that the congruence of both, or the common area between both the circles shows that both are important, right? So that is what you do in ethics. So jitna aapko aa raha hai naturally, organically, you should try to do. But it is not that it is absolutely important in each and every question to do that.
Right. we have talked a lot about preparation and answer writing also. But when we are looking at ethics, in the start you like said that it has been rightly placed there for necessary reasons. Do you think that ethics in totality also influences the personality and thinking, and later maybe helps not just in mains interview as well?
Uh, See, again, it's not as if we have just started learning about ethics, like I said right at the
Yeah,
beginning.
right.
There are many factors that affect a person's morality and ethics in general,
Mhm.
right? Right from your family, right from your school, the values that I've had, the values that society has shaped
Mhm.
for you. जो भी आपने सीखा है, it is going to manifest and reflect into your personality.
Correct.
So I would say via this subject, while you're reading for UPSC, it exposes you to newer ideas, theories. For example, Swami Vivekananda had said, given the concept of Daridra Narayan, which is that don't look for God in holy places. Just serve the poor person in front of you and you would be,
Right.
leading a good life.
Mhm.
Now, that is, if anyone wants to imbibe that value, it is such a beautiful value to imbibe, especially in a country like India,
Yes.
the way party is so high. So, again, it exposes you to newer ideas. But how does it shape a personality? I think the ethics, the true ethics goes beyond the syllabus, rather, in how, what are the values that you've carried forward throughout your life. In this paper itself, we read socialization. So I think that also matters as much as the discipline does.
Ma'am, when we are talking about discipline, and it might be a guiding light, it might be something that helps if you are already thinking in that direction. But given the present world, with so much misinformation, with the advent of artificial intelligence, and with so much reliance on technology, do you think that not just as a subject, ethics is losing relevance? Is it something like that? Can we?
I think with the advent of this AI and all the new technologies, ethics has only gained more importance, because jitni society mein anonymity badhegi, everyone on the internet has a voice. Because you have a comment section does not mean that you can write whatever you want against anyone.
Right.
So for example, if you are trolling say a child, or say somebody who's just come out as queer, or somebody who's just come out as gay, LGBT community से कोई अगर बाहर आता है, तो it does not give you, just because you have freedom of expression does not mean that you should say something mean, right? So ethics is all the more important, because the aim of ethics is to shape you internally,
Right.
rather than trying to guide you or trying to control you externally. So where we're getting more autonomous, where there is no single central control of what should be said, then and there ethics becomes all the more important, right? So where responsibility jahan par kam hoti ja rahi hai, role of ethics I think grows further.
That's very insightful. Yes, and very much needed. Very rightly put also that ethics is getting more and more relevance, importance, given that we are seeing moving away from humanly connections. Moving back towards a little bit towards the preparation part again. Ma'am, briefly you mentioned that there are no fixed sources. But if a student wants a go-to list of resources or books, what would you recommend?
See, I would suggest that if somebody has to read something, they should go for Topper's copies, the first thing.
Okay.
Because that would give them an insight into what is actually required for ethics. So whatever themes you're preparing from the syllabus, you can easily use the internet itself and prepare. For example, when I'm writing an answer on emotional intelligence, that is a topic in the syllabus, I would first want a definition on that topic. So I'll find out who's the most credible person who has said something on emotional intelligence, and I'd just jot down the definition. Then I'd look for what are the quotes or what are the shlokas that I can link with emotional intelligence, and then I'll mention them in the notes that I'm making.
Right.
So I would say keep the syllabus and the Topper's copies as the reference for when you start looking at ethics, and then what is needed from the perspective of answer writing, आप वो चीजें collect कर सकते हो. In the main body, you would require what are the components of emotional intelligence. There's a book as well of Daniel Goleman. Now you can use artificial intelligence to just prepare a summary for yourself and go through that, because I would not recommend reading an entire book for a
Right.
single topic right now. Then there's critical perspectives of every topic. For example, if I'm reading emotional intelligence, I would also want to showcase the drawbacks or the misuse of emotional intelligence. Rather, all of us have emotional intelligence, but it can also mean that you may end up manipulating somebody else's emotions for your benefit, right? So that is how you can prepare. Then I think there are multiple materials available in the market. At Vajiram also we have the foundation book, I think, that has been referred by multiple toppers and has been recommended by multiple toppers. So that can be a one good go-to source to start with.
Right. When we are talking about sources, ma'am, and we have to address the current situation also, that now that prelims is done, mains is something a huge chunk of aspirants who would be not just probably writing it also, and many of them decide to prepare their GS and ethics like they are writing mains this time.
Right.
So, in the span of 2.5, 3 months, what should be their strategy for GS4?
Like I said, see, when you read ethics, prelims mein there is no role of ethics.
Correct.
So when you're reading ethics for GS4 for mains per se, your perspective should be that what do I require and how is UPSC asking that topic? Do I have the relevant examples to quote when I'm thinking of, say, role of family and role of education institutions and inculcation of values? Do I have the relevant shlokas to write? Do I have the definitions to write? Do I know enough theory linkages? For example, if I'm writing on corruption, I would want to quote Gandhi's one of the 7 sins, wealth without work, right? So you have to draw these interlinkages. So जब आप mains के लिए prepare कर रहे हो, your task should be to not only just read the subject passively, but also actively try to draw interlinkages of different topics from each other, and also link it with GS2 as well. Just say in case studies, you get this question of what are the steps that you would take for women empowerment, and what are the steps that have been taken for women empowerment. Now, in that question, you will have to refer to GS2 and take the relevant laws from there, relevant steps, relevant schemes from there in order to consolidate your answer better. So that is what is required to look into the interlinkages that can be drawn from different subjects.
So now when aspirants are looking at these 2.5, 3 months, one of the most important component and that needs to be ready as of now are the notes.
Right.
So are there any specific must-have components that you would like to tell them that they should be present in their notes?
Like I said, see, when you're writing ethics, आप ethics में एक 7 marker, like एक 10 marker question लिखते हो 7 minutes में, right?
Correct.
What does it have? An introduction, the body, and conclusion, right? What do you need for an introduction? Some interlinkage from the current affairs, some definition, some code, some Sanskrit shloka, etc. Now, when you're making notes or when you're looking for value addition into your notes, you should try to ensure कि आपके पास हर टॉपिक को इंट्रोड्यूस करने के लिए one of these things or multiple things to introduce the same topic है. In the main body, you should have different perspectives, or via the PYQs, you should be looking at how has UPSC asked this question previously. For example, if it's asking emotional intelligence, it would simply ask what is the role of emotional intelligence for individuals, what is the role of emotional intelligence for administrators, can AI be misused, if so how, what is the way forward, simply. So all these sub-themes should be there in your notes along with an example to each of the points that you're making. When you do that, your answer naturally reflects that value addition and understanding, right? And for conclusion, for example, emotional intelligence is linked with Sthit Pragya, which is equanimity, which is not being driven by the highs and the lows too much and being similar in all the situations. So when you do that kind of value addition, when you have that kind of understanding and preparation, I think answer writing में काफी aid करता है वो.
Right. एक और बहुत direct problem, even if one is ready with notes and the preparation, is that there is frequent low score, and any sort of low score in this time or otherwise as well is demotivating. It puts you a little off track. So what are the suggestions that you would like to give to the aspirants? Maybe they should look into correct those scores, and what can they do about it?
See, the easiest way to look into an ethics copy is to see how different is your copy from the rest 5 copies that exist.
Right.
So, for example, Shakti
Mhm.
rank 1 last year.
Mhm.
She, like, until the last day, she would send me her code-based questions because she was not great at
Mhm.
code-based questions, and she would want कि I should still get better at
Mhm.
writing these questions. तो ethics ऐसा subject है जिसमें आप कितना भी लिख लो, there will always be scope for improvement.
Correct.
There'll be an extra interlinkage that you could have drawn. There'll be an extra example that you could have given. There'll be a good conclusion that you could have written. तो जब आप लो स्कोर्स देख रहे हो एथिक्स में, यू हैव टू सी कि फर्स्टली इज योर कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी गुड, डू यू हैव अ गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ व्हाट यू आर रीडिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हेन वी रीड एथिक्स इन प्राइवेट एंड पब्लिक administration, in that you have to understand that a person cannot be truly separate. If I am somebody who is not a good person in my personal life, it would manifest in some way or the other in my public life, right? Because the person remains the same. It is just the spheres of life that are changing, right? So that kind of understanding for each topic you have to have. When you do that, उसके बाद आपको उसका रोल आता है value addition का. For example, what are the kind of examples that you've gathered? What are the kind of value addition that you've done?
What is your advice to the students who are repeatedly scoring low? Because that puts them a little off track, especially in this duration. Otherwise also, but what are the things they should take care of and focus on? Right.
So ethics is that one subject that can make or break an interview call and a rank per se, right? Somebody who's getting a 90 and somebody who's getting a 140 has created a lot of difference in means that cannot be fulfilled. Now, iske liye what you should be first looking at is your conceptual clarity good? And secondly, are you writing ethics the way that subject is supposed to be written? Like I said, there's a separate vocabulary, keywords that exist for every subject. If you're trying to use the same templates, the same frameworks, the same understanding that you write GS2 and GS3 in, the examiner is not expecting that. He wants that you should be able to reflect and showcase a better understanding of this subject. So when even something that is core polity, core governance that is asked in ethics, you have to deliberately try to inculcate ethical keywords. जैसे ethics में they ask you, applied ethics में they ask you ethics and IR related questions. In that, you have to also try to showcase what are the values that are being eroded by several countries, etc. Right? So it becomes all the more important that चाहे वो syllabus में किसी भी topic से हो, but अगर आप एक ethics का answer लिख रहे हो, तो it should look like that. It should not look like another GS2 repetition or another GS3 answer. Second thing is that now comes your value addition aspect and how much original are you with your answers. So there are some people who don't experiment a little bit with their code-based questions. For example, if I've asked a code-based questions, then they'll just break that question down into pestle and they'll write examples from what would the code mean in the political sense, in the economic sense, in the social sense. That is not enough. You have to argue well in ethics, I would say. You have to also show your arguments first and then the examples can follow. So that is what is required, I think, in ethics. Focus on your originality. See if you understand the concept well. See if you're able to showcase the diversity that you carry within yourself and reflect it into that answer. If not, I think there are things to improve.
Right. So I think we have rounded up on the subject very well. Let us move forward with a very small rapid fire round just to conclude. Let's start with the first one. What is one ethical value every civil servant should inculcate?
Because if you do not have integrity, all other values in times of crisis would not be able to function. Right. So integrity.
One book every UPSC aspirant should read.
The Difficulty of Being Good by Gurcharan Das.
Oh, I'll take this up today then. Most overrated strategy in ethics.
Most overrated strategy is prepare definitions of all the keywords that exist and you'll get through. It is not going to do you any good.
Okay. Ideal administrator, practical or idealistic?
Practical when necessary, ideal whenever possible.
Oh, very nicely said. So, ma'am, that's the end of our podcast. I would like you to give one message to all the aspirants from your side so that they know what to do or what not to do. One final message from your end.
I'd say don't complicate ethics a lot. It is a very sweet subject. If you read it well, it is the only paper in your mains that gives you an opportunity to showcase your personality to the examiner before even going for the interview call. So I would say try to just use ethics in order to showcase your personality better. Don't take it with a light heart. अच्छे से पढ़ो उसको, कुछ है नहीं उतना difficult, just that we've made it very complex. Practice answer writing, try to convey whatever you want with good keywords, with good theoretical linkages, and I think you'll sail through. All the best.
That was very nice conversation, ma'am, across. Great knowing more about this subject, and I'm very sure it is going to help all the aspirants out there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.